Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahushua, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahushua, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. Double honor to the apostles, the elders. Salutations to you, sincere brothers, teaching in truth and in sincerity. This lesson will be entitled The Death of a Dynasty by source CNN. This article is entitled Many Parents May Have to Stop Working Entirely if Schools Don't Reopen. Goldman Sachs says. This article was published Tuesday, August 4th, 2020. The new school year is just around the corner, and parents and teachers are fretting about returning to the classroom during the pandemic. Economists are worried, too, because a lack of childcare could damage America's recovery. Single parents, parents with young children, and parents who can't work from home are the groups most at risk to stop working entirely because they have no child care, said Goldman Sachs. Economists David Choi and Joseph Briggs in a note to clients on Tuesday. Nearly a third of the pre-pandemic U.S. labor force has kids at home, and about 15% of the workforce falls into at least two of those three risk categories above. Choi and Briggs said that totals about 24 million people. Since May, some 7 million people per week have not worked because they didn't have access to child care. According to data from the Census Household Pulse Survey, a number that accounts for about 14% of virus-related reasons for missing working. Historically, child care policies have affected people's participation in the labor force, and unfortunately, women are more affected by it than men. While the gender split in the U.S. labor force was roughly 50-50, women and men late last year, COVID could tilt the scales back in favor of men. Long story short, it's bad for recovery. If parents are forced to stop working to care for their kids. America lost more than 20 million jobs in March and April due to the pandemic lockdown, but the labor market has been recovering since hitting that trough, or it's like a trough. Okay. First precept will be Job 5:13. Salakia. Let's start at verse 12. He, referring to Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, disappoint the devices of the crafty, referring to the Edomite elite international bankers that control this entire system, beginning with the Rothschilds' devices, objectives within the New World Order, so that their hands, meaning their might, their strength, their will, cannot perform their enterprise. Enterprise in the Hebrew is referring to their success, which is what? The New World Order. Attainment of this objective. Key point. He disappoint the devices of the crafty. And objective within the New World Order is the wipeout of the middle class. Now, according to this article, economists are worried too because a lack of child care could damage America's recovery. Since May, some 7 million people per week have not worked because they didn't have access to childcare. Long story short, it's bad for the recovery if parents are forced to stop working to care for their kids. By these schools shutting down, this will affect the economy as well. People cannot work because they use the school systems to assist with watching their children. And the elite bankers know this. So if you shut down the schools, this will further promote wiping out the middle class. 2 Corinthians 2:11, lest Satan should get an advantage of us. Us is referring to the elites of the nation of Israel. For we are not ignorant of his devices, and Lord will, we are the hopeful elect. The reason why we are not ignorant because of the Holy Spirit, and we understand that Satan's physical manifestation on earth is the nation of Edom, beginning with the elite bankers. And a device is wiping out the middle class to assist with the attainment of the New World Order. And if people don't have access to childcare, then they can't work. Lord will, you're edified. Shalom.